Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Guman-Singh. You saw it here earlier, Monday night. Governor Kenneth Mapp delivered his first State of the Territory address before a formal session of the 31st legislature. All who were in attendance were eager to hear answers to questions that have plagued the territory. Here's more of what he had to say.
The reduction in rates thus far has been due to market forces. In the Virgin Islands, we know all too well this is not a reliable strategy to manage electric cost. The conversion must be completed and implemented. The people of the Virgin Islands have waited long enough for relief. They have asked me to tell you there is no more room or tolerance for any new excuses. They simply want the job done. For WAPA and its senior management team to survive, WAPA must undertake a sincere commitment to rebrand itself as a service provider, genuinely working for the people of the Virgin Islands who are their customers. WAPA, make it your priority to bring the territory relief sooner rather than later.
Were all the bases covered? What was the general feel of the speech? Be sure to tune in for team coverage as we recap the address and get reactions as well as comments on Tuesday's newscast. Well, last week in a press conference, Soraya Diasi-Kofeld revealed reasons for her resignation. She questioned the appointment of the Solicitor General and the way the new administration prevented her from having a say in Justice Department staffing. Here are some more details from that press conference, this time implicating a top government advisor. News 2's April Knight has that story.
3 days before Governor Kenneth Mapp's State of the Territory address, former AG designee Soraya Diasi-Kofeld held a press conference detailing why she resigned, reasons that cast the Mapp administration in unflattering light.
In just 10 short days, I knew that I was not going to be a figurehead attorney general.
In her Friday press conference, Kofeld said she was treated like a messenger, ordered by Chief of Staff Randy Knight to deliver letters informing 2 Justice Department attorneys that they were being fired the same day.
I objected to firing these attorneys, especially since they had the experience I needed to move forward. I was told that the decision had already been made and they had to go. I was ordered to deliver the letters to them.
Kofeld did receive criticism for hiring her former campaign worker, Kevin Rodriguez. Rodriguez was on staff for 1 day and a half before he was terminated.
I received a telephone call from the governor's chief of staff who ordered me, quote, to get rid of him, end of quote, and, quote, to have him leave the building immediately, end of quote. The chief of staff continued to yell orders at me to get rid of him.
Top-level staffing in the Special Investigation Division, a critical area in uncovering government corruption, is also problematic, according to Kofeld. She said when she submitted 2 names for head of that division, she did not get a response from Government House.
Then I was provided with a resume submitted by the governor for his family member to head that division. In my opinion, that individual did not have the experience or qualifications to serve in the Special Investigations Unit.
According to Kofeld, the Department of Justice cannot be treated like the governor's own private law firm. Request for comment from Government House has not been returned. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
In other news, the St. Croix Elections Board will officially get its 7th member. On Tuesday, Raymond Williams will be sworn in at the Superior Court. Williams replaces Rupert Ross Jr., who resigned his post after winning a seat in the November election and before he was sworn in January. Williams was the next highest vote getter in the same party as Ross and was approved by board members last week. 2 more solar plants are planned for St. Croix. During a WAPA board meeting last Thursday, the governing body approved 2 power purchase agreements to help increase the solar capacity on St. Croix. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
WAPA officials are looking long-term for alternative energy sources that would further lower energy costs for customers.
WAPA is not just satisfied with changing our fuel to propane. We're going to continue to bring renewable projects. We're going to bring efficiency measures to bring new equipment to the power plants.
Last week, WAPA's Executive Director Hugo Hodge signed two 25-year power purchase agreements the board approved for 2 solar plants. The 2 facilities will be developed by St. Croix Solar. Both will supplement St. Croix Mid-Island Solar Farm, which currently generates 4 megawatts of electricity.
The east one is in Grenard, and the western part by White Bay. And what this does is it brings a total amount of solar, the one that's in place already with Toshiba, and this planned one, to a total of 10 megawatts.
The power purchase agreements have to go before the Public Services Commission for approval, but Hodge said that they will provide long-term benefits in not only the fact that solar is a greener resource, but that it will also cut costs.
The agreements begin at 13.9 cents a kilowatt hour, and there's a 2% escalator on an annual basis. So it's below our avoided costs. It's below what our cost of generation.
According to Hodge, the solar plants are expected to come online in a year's time from now.
If you add in the 5 megawatts of net metering that exists, that brings our total from renewable energy just on these solar projects and net metering to about 40% of our peak demand. So it's quite achievement, quite a high number.
Hodge says it's WAPA's plan to enter into more long-term cost-cutting agreements than depend on one commodity that rises and falls with the market. Erica Parsons, News 2.
The innovative wireless retail store located at Lockhart Gardens, St. Thomas, will be closing on Thursday, January 29th, and all resources will be relocated to the main location at the Innovative Business Office at Tutu Park. Officials say in addition to the store's relocation, there will be upgrades made at the Tutu Park location to improve workspace and to better accommodate customers. Innovative Cable TV in other news, St. Croix was experiencing some technical difficulties with a number of channels. The service interruption caused several channels to be off the air. Innovative's technical team has been working around the clock to restore service. Officials say half of the channels are up and running, and they expect all to be back up and running tonight. Innovative apologizes for any inconvenience this may have caused its viewing audience. The Secret Service is investigating after a suspicious electronic device was recovered on the lawn of the White House. A suspicious electronic device that some are saying could be a drone turned up on the lawn overnight. White House officials said there was no cause for alarm during a news conference in India. President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama are traveling to India and Saudi Arabia this week. Their daughters, Sasha and Malia, are reportedly staying at the White House with their grandmother. News crews in Washington, D.C. captured video of security crews on foot, on bikes, and in cars covering the north lawn, shining flashlights across the grass and back towards the White House. Keeping our eye on the economy, President Obama wants to stop oil and gas exploration in a huge section of Alaska. The president will ask Congress to designate 12 million acres of Alaska's wildlife refuge as a protected wilderness area. Also, Goodyear is recalling more than 48,000 SUV tires because they could develop small cracks. The recall is forcing General Motors to stop sale of about 6,300 vehicles until the tires can be replaced. And college students might want to think twice about skipping class. There's an app, a new app for that, called Class 120 that will let parents know if they actually showed up. The app uses geolocation technology to track students. The service costs $18 a month. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with the Stock Market Watch. The Dow up 610, NASDAQ up 13, S&P also up 5. Coming up on News 2, some noteworthy events coming up to mark on your calendar. Plus, we take a look at the prices at the pumps. What are motorists facing this week? We'll be right back. Flames have damaged the Tap Room Brew Pub at Mongoose Junction. A statement posted online said St. John Brewers vowed to reopen the business in time for the next season. As we reported On Friday, firefighters battled the fire on St. John at the Mongoose Junction Shopping Center in CRUZ Bay. Many onlookers and shoppers were evacuated around 1 p.m. Lots of smoke was seen around the area. No injuries so far have been reported. Onlookers say they saw about 4 to 5 water trucks in the area assisting the fire department. Fire officials continue to investigate. Well, major crime detectives on St. Thomas are investigating an arson that uncovered the murder of a female victim. The victim's name, however, has been identified as 54-year-old Merle Nada. The fire, which affected a residence in Estate Mandal, was called into 911 emergency dispatch just after 8 a.m. on January 23rd. The fire, which affected the residence in Mandal, again was called in on January 23rd. Now, once the fire was suppressed by members of the VI Fire Service, the body of the female victim was found in the kitchen area. Officers say the victim had trauma to her body and have ruled the incident a murder. Count on 2 to keep you updated. Truck rack prices did not see change, and that's according to Hovenza as we take a look at the prices at the pumps, although they're still a way higher than the plummeting prices in the mainland. For regular gas, it's $3.46 per gallon. For premium, it's $3.74 per gallon. And for diesel, it's $3.42 per gallon. These prices, which are effective until February 1st, already include the 14-cent tax that Hovenza collects for the government. You have probably noticed some activity in the area as work has commenced to repair Centerline Road on St. Croix in the vicinity of the police headquarters at Hannah's Rest. The road repair project stretches from the Hannah's Rest traffic signal to the Kamakris hardware store. Road repairs are expected to continue through February 13, 2015 rather. Department of Public Works Commissioner Gustav James is advising the motoring public to exercise caution and look for the flagmen and traffic signs as they traverse in the area. Well, Captain Gus Anderson and the officers of the MV Quantum of the Seas will cruise into the Waiko dock on St. Thomas on Tuesday, and with them will be many passengers as the maximum capacity is 4,905. Why is this a big deal? Because it's an inaugural call to St. Thomas. Royal Caribbean introduced the Quantum of the Seas last year. The ship has a 40-foot-long Flow Rider surf simulator and the signature rock wall within the 16 decks of Quantum of the Seas and the first skydiving simulator at sea. But we'll have some highlights on their arrival. Virgin Islands small business owner Priscilla Hintz Rivera has been appointed to the U.S. Small Business Administration's Region 2 Regulatory Fairness Board by the SBA Administrator Maria Contreras Sweet. Regional Regulatory Fairness Boards in all 10 of SBA's regions represent the voice of small business on regulatory fairness issues. SBA Region 2 includes the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, New York, and New Jersey. Hintz Rivera will serve as a local resource for small businesses and will work with small business trade groups and other entities to address local and regional concerns. Hintz Rivera is the principal owner of PHR Arts Projects and the founder and director of ArtV Advocates. She brings years of public relations and marketing expertise. Millionaire entrepreneur, New York Times bestselling author, and philanthropist Chris Gardner will be the featured speaker at the University of the Virgin Islands' 5th annual Man Up Male Empowerment Conference. Mark that on your calendar. That's on February 10th at the UVI Sports and Fitness Center on St. Thomas campus and on Wednesday, February 11th at the Albert Sheen campus on St. Croix. More than 3,000 young men from public and private schools throughout the territory have been invited. Gardner is best known as the subject of the 2006 movie The Pursuit of Happiness, starring Will Smith and Jaden Smith. He lived on next to nothing, became homeless, then a top earner, and eventually owner of a top brokerage firm. You can hear his story. The students of the Ricardo Richards School have completed a 2-year project that provides insight on the past residents of Christiansted. Now, last Friday, the students placed quick response or QR codes on 2 of St. Croix's historic downtown buildings as part of the Who Lived Here project. QR codes can be scanned by smartphones and has information about the item it's attached to. As part of the project, the students went on walking trips through Christiansted to identify the buildings and its former residents. Officials held a welcome ceremony at the Steeple House last week to place those signs. The project was the brainchild of local musician and educator Valrika Bryson. Congratulations there. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.